Hey, Dan here, and this is the ENFP reboot. Trying to find somewhere quiet here in the park. I find when I film these videos outside, it's like I have this magnetic ENFP energy where people are drawn to me. I'll find some small corner somewhere where it's quiet, and then all of a sudden, a group of Japanese tourists decide they want to hang out around me, and I get it. I'm kind of a big deal. I'd want to take a photo by me too, but it makes it a little awkward when trying to film something. And today, I'm going to explore a cool concept. It's actually one of my favorite life hacks. No clickbait here. This is something that I have used to radically change my life. I give it some credit for how I moved from $30 an hour to $100+ an hour as a freelance writer. I give it credit for all sorts of big changes, including getting some books written, lots of things. And what it is to change your environment in order to change yourself. So in the world of personal growth and personal development, there's many different perspectives in terms of how do you make a change. There's the perspective that looks at people like Nelson Mandela and says, he was in a prison for 23 years, and yet he maintained his focus, his happiness, his determination, and in the worst of circumstances. Therefore, your circumstances don't matter, and it's all about what's inside. And there's the other side that's like, buy these vitamins, live in this neighborhood, do whatever, and get the external happiness, and then you'll finally be happy. There's some truth in both sides. And a lot that isn't true in both sides, right? There are many people who have everything they need externally, and yet they still are not happy. And there are people who don't have much and are extremely happy. And honestly, there's a genetic component to this as well. I think this is something that the personal development world never talks about, just the genetics of it, that some people either genetically are happier or their early upbringing set up their happiness levels. So it's not something they did that makes them that way per se. It's just how they happen to be wired by the time they're an adult. But what we're talking about here is how you can use your environment to change your life and make big changes. And I've done this many times. I personally find that my environment has a massive impact on my behavior, on my feelings, and ultimately on my output as well. I'll give you a really recent example because I've been testing around with this. So, that sounds bright. So I've just made a change from Prague to Valencia, Spain, a couple weeks ago. And I had this theory, like I'm always healthier when I'm in Spain, right? I don't know, I find I eat better, I find I'm healthy, and of course some of it comes down to the quality of ingredients available at grocery store, etc. But when I was back in Prague between these visits in Spain, I went out of my way to follow the same habits. I wrote down everything I ate in Spain. I tried to buy the same things at the grocery store. I tried to maintain the same behavior. Nope, definitely not healthier, definitely not happier. My happiness levels, my energy levels instantly went up back in Spain. Now, you could say that's from the sun, probably has a part of it. Say it's from the people, the culture, etc. Definitely plays a part. It doesn't really matter. I have found personally when I am in Spain, I tend to be happier, healthier, and oddly enough, usually make more money. And I'm just generally more productive, which is not something you would probably associate with Spain. This is something that I have tested out in many places. Now, I'm talking a lot about moving to do this, right? Moving to a new country, moving to a new place. But there's no reason you can't also do this in terms of neighborhoods in the same city, in terms of peer groups, in terms of places that you are at. I find there are certain cafes and places that I work at, and I'm exceptionally productive. And there are certain places I just cannot focus and cannot work. Could I do some real deep work and find out what's going on with my inner child and why I'm not able to work in one cafe and I can in another? Maybe. But it seems a lot easier to me just to change the cafe. The other thing is our minds, we get so wired with patterns of behavior, right? If you've been in the same home for many years, the same city, the same everything, you get used to, you get these patterns that you're doing every day. And it really does become hardwired in, where you just repeat these patterns. You go to the same places, you see the same people, you have the same conversations. It's a lot harder to make a change. When I was going through a business bankruptcy in Vancouver, life was not super fun at the time, and I decided to make the change to go to Costa Rica. And some could say, hey, you were running from your problems. Yeah, probably. I didn't run. I went through all the legal processes and whatever, but did I go there for an emotional reset? Yeah, absolutely. Did I also go there because I love travel and I wanted to live in Costa Rica? Absolutely. Is there anything wrong with that? No. I know that there's nothing I would have done better if I stayed in Vancouver. This whole aspect of you can't run from your problems or you can't run from your situation. Yeah, maybe, but what if your situation sucks? What if you were born in a town you don't like? Or what if the place you live, you can't meet people that are inspiring to you? Wouldn't it be better to move to a bigger city or a cooler place that has people you really want to connect with, a kind of peer group you would want to be with? I have found massive differences with travel in how I feel, how I work, who I connect with based on where I live. Some cities, I don't meet anyone interesting, anyone inspiring, and they kind of suck. I'm the same person. Other cities, I end up making incredible friendships and people who inspire me, who help me with my business, who, have had a profound impact on my life. And I don't think it is coincidence or chance, because guess what? Places attract people who are attracted to those kinds of places. It's why in New York you tend to find ambitious people. It's why in LA you tend to find vain people. It's why in Paris you're probably going to find more people who are, if they're French or European, they're probably just ambitious going there for a job. But if they're American or Canadian, they're probably pursuing something creative, and that's why they thought they would move to Paris. You live on a beach somewhere, guess what? You're going to meet people who are big proponents of a healthier lifestyle, love balance, like things like yoga, surfing, healthy eating. It is not random how places are formed and the culture of places are formed. And so if you're not happy where you are, I really advocate considering a change. Think about the kind of people you want to be around, the kind of values that are important to you, the goals you have, and then start to think about what kind of places would have people like that. And if you want to ask me in the comment, I've not been everywhere, but I've been to a lot of places, and can maybe add some insights on some possible places. And of course, you can always go traveling for a while, like many people do. Visit a bunch of places and find whatever works best for them. Hope you found this video as part of the ENFP reboot helpful. The ultimate takeaway here is consider changing your environment as an easy way to make a big change, because we are such people that are impacted by the people around us, by our environment, by the culture we're in, that changing that is one of the easiest ways to change ourselves, because we are very adaptable and will adjust and fit into wherever we are, for better or for worse. See you tomorrow for a good one.